take note. Wish my kids were like this. Okay, so don't they look incredible in their school uniform blazers? I think it really presents brilliantly. We've got Tully, Melinda and Atherton, and Emily is not at school, so this is why she doesn't have a blazer on. It's not because she couldn't pull one out of the cupboard from last year. Absolutely. Come on over, Emily. You're going to be our first presenter, obviously. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Emily Benson. So I recently graduated from Atherton High School last year. I'm just currently taking a gap year. Hopefully I get to go to Gatton down in UQ and go study sustainable agriculture. Also in high school I did cattle handling. I was really involved with the shows and it was something I really loved doing. I did just take a step back from it to take a chance to have a look at what I want to do in life, and yeah, that's about it.
What's your question, Emily?
My question I was given was, has President Trump made any decisions that will have an effect on Australian farmers? Why and how? To the best of my knowledge, I actually don't know anything about this. It would definitely be something I would be interested in looking into. I would like to believe he hasn't. However, there's a lot of worldly things that are going on all the time, so we don't always hear everything that's going on. So it's definitely something I'm keen to look into. Hopefully it's not too much of a big change and it's not something bad, and if it was something bad, then what's a way we can fix it? Thank you.
Alexis, a little challenge here, so we're going to improvise. That's what we do at the Cairns show. I was going to say, look, we still look each other in the eye. I've actually had workplace health and safety inspect that. Amanda Hunter was the officer we appointed. All right, go for it.
Hi, I'm Alexis. I'm currently studying grade 12 at Atherton State High School. So about 5 years ago, I moved to Atherton from Cairns. And if you ask me, 5 years ago, I'd say Cairns was probably great, but if you ask me now, I'd say, oh, Cairns sucks. Shopping, the shopping is good, but Atherton's the stuff. Because I really love animals, and just moving to Atherton has enhanced that for me. So, yeah, so that's why I love Atherton so much. So, my impromptu question was, tell us about your thoughts on careers for women in agriculture and how might you fit into this or even influence this in the future. So women are not always majority in farming, so you're most likely to see more men than women than like now. And nowadays vets, you see more like about 50-50%. But how might I fit into this? Well, I want to be a vet hopefully in the future, and becoming a vet is hard for anyone and everyone, and being one of that 50% will help or influence this in the future. I know Teoh wants to study agricultural science, and she could potentially influence this in the future by putting another number into the agricultural science way. Thank you.
So it seems like a good segue. Our next entrant is Teoh Side. I will take this way. So come on forward, Teoh.
Hi, my name is Teoh Side. I currently moved to the Atherton Tablelands about 10 years ago from Weipa, and I absolutely love it. Love the climate, love the community. I wish to be an agricultural scientist in the future. I really want to go down to Melbourne and study a Bachelor of Agricultural Science down there, as I believe I could potentially shape minds and the agricultural business in the future.
What is your impromptu question, Teoh?
What is an important commodity in primary industries? What has been the most important issue in the media in relation to water supply over the recent months? So of course there was the Townsville floods. So people went from being in drought to all of a sudden having major water running everywhere. So of course now there isn't as much water anywhere.
So after the floods, all the water washed away, and they're obviously back in drought, or some places are at least. There's also the Murray-Darling River, which is down to 8%. The Murray-Darling River helps farmers to grow rice and grow a bunch of different crops that definitely does help us up here and everywhere else in Australia. And for it to become to 8% is really bad because they don't have as much water down there anymore. So we will suffer with some of the crops that they are growing, as we won't get as much crops anymore. So it definitely does have a major effect on us.
Thank you. Okay, our next off the rank is Rhiannon Rhodes. And Rhiannon's going to talk to us. She's from Malanda.
Good morning, or afternoon really. My name is Rhiannon Rhodes and I am from up in the Tablelands in Malanda, where most of you probably won't know. I have moved up from Cairns in early 2016, and since then I've been participating in Malanda's cattle handling and judging schools, shows, Malanda Show, and biannual dairy, educational dairy camps. And this year I am striving to do the same again by participating in this year's Malanda Beef Cattle Handling and Judging School and Malanda Show.
What's your impromptu question, Rhiannon?
My impromptu question is, the Great Barrier Reef is listed on the World Heritage Register. What measures are the Queensland Government doing to ensure its protection? The Queensland Government have multiple policies and procedures in place to ensure its protection and so that way it is able to be passed on for generations to come and for more tourists around the world to see, so that way it is spread how good our reef is that is on our doorstep. Thank you.
Our next entrant is, of course, Sophie Mackay. It's Mackay, isn't it? Yes, there you go. Sophie Mackay. It's a continuous debate in southern Queensland. Go ahead, Sophie.
Good afternoon, my name's Sofia Mackay. I'm in grade 12 this year. I go to Teoh State High School and I'm very passionate about ag thanks to our teacher, Mr. Giffen. So I have been involved in shows for quite a while now. When I was younger, through paintings and photographs, like writing about the cane industry in Tully, and now through the high school, more specifically cattle judging and parading. So that's opened my eye to a lot of agricultural events, and hopefully I'm planning to go to uni to study a field in agriculture and potentially move back and help with the banana industry. I'm a 4th generation farmer of our family, so.
That's fabulous. What's your impromptu question?
My question is, how did you think the recent flooding events in northwest Queensland will affect the beef cattle market? So the flooding in central Queensland has had a major effect on the beef cattle market specifically. I believe they had the amount of rainfall that they would over the course of an entire year in the short process of a few days. So that's had dramatic effects on the environment and the people's businesses. Specifically, a lot of cattle were washed away and businesses would no longer have their accumulated gene pods and would have to restart by buying cattle to breed for their business. Also, lack of resources. There are ways that people can fundraise for that, such as drought angels and donating money to farmers in need, such as donating hay bales to keep them afloat, as well as because they need to invest in other areas to help their business, not only to gain money but also help put back into what was lost. The cattle market prices are bound to go up as the need is still there. However, there's limited access or resource, it becomes more valuable to the communities. So the prices would go up, and also like transport and other measures would be harder. So yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Finally, we have Rose Meacham. Do you need a box? Poor Sophie, she basically did the calf exercises for the whole month just then. Do you need it? I can get it for you. Look, it's not just got Alexis's name on it. She hasn't even got a banana farm stencil on it, so we can't be accused of bias. No, that's never too tall. You go for it. Sophie. Oh, sorry, Rose.
Hi, my name is Rose Meacham and I'm from Tully in Far North Queensland, and I'm currently studying agricultural science and rural operations at Tully High School, and I have been showing cattle and judging cattle since 2016 in grade 9 when I got introduced to it through my teacher, Mr. Griffin. And I've loved it since. It's become one of my greatest passions, and I really intend to keep that going with the rest of my life after this year. My impromptu question is, what is having a major effect on the dairy industry? Since I'm majorly involved in just beef cattle, I unfortunately don't really have an answer to this question. But whatever it is, I'm sure if it was extremely having a big effect on it, we would have heard about it.
All right. So, folks, if I can call upon you to put your hands together for this year's entrance in the Ambassador Awards. We're going to call upon the girls to exit the stage to our right. They're going to take their place back in the audiences, and our judges are excused to convene and to discuss the entries. I think that you'll agree with me that we put them on the spot, but they represented them well themselves admirably. Whilst our judges are convening and discussing the quality and calibre of the entrants, we're going to call upon our show president, Mr. Ian Allen, to say a few words